It's a Tuesday afternoon in downtown LA, and a crowd of angry protesters has surrounded a single black police officer. They're shouting, pointing fingers, and someone's already pulled out their phone to live stream what they think is about to become another viral moment of police confrontation. But then, a figure in a worn leather jacket and faded jeans steps out from behind a parked motorcycle. The crowd doesn't notice him at first. Why would they? He's just another bystander, right? Wrong. Because what happens next will leave you questioning everything you think you know about heroes. The mystery deepens. Officer Marcus Williams stands in the center of the chaos, his hands raised peacefully, trying to de-escalate a situation that's spiraling out of control. The protesters are accusing him of racial profiling after he'd stopped a suspicious vehicle near the elementary school. Their chants grow louder: no justice, no peace, and stop the harassment. But Marcus isn't backing down. He's protecting something, someone. The crowd doesn't know what Marcus knows. They don't see what he sees, and that's when the man in the leather jacket starts walking toward the commotion. His steps are measured, deliberate. A few people in the back of the crowd turn around, squinting in the California sun. Is that? No way. Holy shit, that's Keanu Reeves. The whispers start small, like ripples in a pond, but within seconds the energy shifts. Phones that were pointed at Officer Williams suddenly pivot toward the approaching figure. But here's the thing about Keanu that most people don't understand. He doesn't do this for the cameras. He never has. The revelation. Keanu walks straight through the crowd, which parts like the Red Sea. No security detail, no entourage, just him, moving with that quiet confidence that's made him legendary both on and off screen. He reaches Officer Williams and does something completely unexpected. He extends his hand, not for a handshake, not for show. He's offering support to a man who's standing alone against dozens of angry voices. The crowd falls silent. You could hear a pin drop, and then Keanu speaks. His voice carries that familiar gravelly tone, but there's something else in it now, something deeper. "I know this man," he says, loud enough for everyone to hear, "and I think you should know his story." The protesters exchange confused glances. Some lower their signs. Others keep their phones rolling, but now they're documenting something entirely different. Officer Williams looks at Keanu with surprise. They've never met before this moment. But Keanu's about to reveal something that will change everything. The story within the story. 6 months ago, Keanu begins, his eyes scanning the crowd. "I was riding my bike through Griffith Park when I heard screaming. A little girl had fallen into the storm drain after the heavy rains. The water was rising fast, and she was trapped. The crowd leans in despite themselves. By the time I got there, someone was already in the water, a man in uniform, chest deep in that freezing, rushing water, fighting against the current to reach her." Keanu turns to Officer Williams, who's looking down at his boots, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. "This man," Keanu continues, "risked his life for a child he'd never met. No cameras, no recognition, just a father himself, thinking about his own daughter at home, and knowing he couldn't live with himself if he didn't try." The silence stretches. A woman in the front row lowers her protest sign completely. "The current was strong. I watched him get swept downstream twice, but he kept going back, kept fighting to reach her." Officer Williams finally looks up, his eyes meeting Keanu's. There's a story there that goes deeper than what's being told. What Officer Williams doesn't know, Keanu says with a slight smile, is that the little girl he saved, she's my neighbor's daughter, Emma Rodriguez, 7 years old, loves dinosaurs and wants to be a paleontologist when she grows up. The crowd is completely silent now. Some people are lowering their phones entirely. She gets to dream about digging up fossils because this man was willing to risk everything for a stranger's child. The twist. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Officer Williams steps forward, his voice shaky but determined. "Mr. Reeves, I need to tell you something." The crowd holds its breath. "That day in the park? You weren't just a witness. When I was getting swept away the second time, when I thought I wasn't going to make it back to Emma, someone grabbed my arm, pulled me back toward her, helped me get the leverage I needed to reach her and lift her to safety." Keanu's expression doesn't change, but something flickers in his eyes. "You saved both of us that day," Marcus continues. "You just disappeared afterward. I never got to thank you." And that's when the crowd realizes they've been witnessing something extraordinary. Not just a story about kindness, but a moment of recognition between two people who risked everything for someone else's child. The deeper truth. The woman who'd been leading the protest steps forward. Her voice is different now, softer. "Officer Williams, we didn't know. We saw you stopping that car near the school, and we assumed." Marcus nods, understanding. "The car matched the description of a vehicle used in an attempted kidnapping 3 blocks away. I was protecting the kids getting out of school." The signs are lowering one by one. The chants have stopped completely, but Keanu isn't done. Here's what I want everyone to understand, he says, his voice carrying that weight that makes you lean in closer. We're living in a time when we're quick to judge, quick to assume, quick to condemn. But what if we were just as quick to listen, to understand, to see the person behind the uniform, or the skin color, or the assumptions we make? He pauses, letting that sink in. Marcus Williams is a father, a husband, and a man who nearly died saving a child. But more than that, he's someone who chooses to serve his community every single day, knowing that sometimes people will hate him for it. The transformation. What happens next is something you have to see to believe. The woman who'd been leading the protest extends her hand to Officer Williams. "I'm Sarah Martinez," she says, Emma's mother. The pieces click into place. The crowd realizes they've been watching a reunion they never knew was happening. Sarah's voice breaks as she continues. "Officer Williams, I never got to thank you properly. Emma talks about her hero policeman all the time. She draws pictures of you. She wants to be a police officer now because of what you did." Marcus's composure finally cracks. Tears run down his face as he shakes Sarah's hand. "I was just doing my job," he says quietly. "No," Keanu interjects. "You were being human. That's not always the same thing." The ripple effect. The crowd begins to disperse, but not in the way anyone expected. Instead of walking away angry, people are approaching Officer Williams, shaking his hand, apologizing, asking about Emma, asking about his family. The live stream that was supposed to capture another confrontation is now documenting something entirely different, a community remembering how to see each other as human beings. But here's the part that will stick with you long after you finish reading this. As the crowd thins out, a young boy approaches Officer Williams. He can't be more than 8 years old, and he's holding a crumpled piece of paper. "Officer Williams," the boy says in a small voice, "I drew this for you." Marcus kneels down to the boy's level and takes the paper. It's a crayon drawing of a police officer pulling a little girl out of water. At the bottom, in shaky kid handwriting, it says, "Thank you for saving my sister Emma." The ending that changes everything. As the scene winds down, Keanu prepares to leave. He's walking back toward his motorcycle when Officer Williams catches up to him. "Mr. Reeves," Marcus calls out. Why did you step in today?" Keanu stops and turns around. For a moment, he just looks at Marcus, as if deciding how much truth he wants to share. "6 months ago, when I helped you save Emma, I learned something about myself that I didn't know before. I learned that being a hero isn't about the movies you make or the characters you play. It's about the moments when nobody's watching, when there's no script, when you have to choose between what's easy and what's right." He pauses, his hand on his motorcycle helmet. "Today, everyone was watching, and I realized that sometimes the most heroic thing you can do is make sure other people's heroism doesn't go unnoticed." Keanu puts on his helmet and starts his bike. As he's about to pull away, he calls out over the engine noise. "Besides, Emma's been asking her mom when she can meet the nice police officer again. I figured it was time to make that happen," and with that, he rides away, leaving behind a crowd of people who came to protest and ended up witnessing something that would change how they see the world. The final twist. But wait, there's one more thing. 3 weeks later, Officer Marcus Williams receives a package at the police station. No return address. Inside is a framed photo of him lifting Emma from the storm drain, taken from an angle that could only have been captured by someone who was right there in the water with them. At the bottom of the frame, there's an inscription. "Heroes aren't born. They're revealed in moments when love matters more than fear. Thank you for showing me what that looks like. Natted, K.R." And tucked behind the photo is a check made out to the Police Athletic League, signed by Keanu Reeves for exactly $50,000. The memo line reads, "For Emma's college fund, and for every kid who deserves to know that heroes come in all forms." The question that haunts. So here's what I want you to think about. How many heroes walk among us every day, unrecognized and unacknowledged? How many moments of extraordinary courage happen in ordinary places, witnessed only by the people whose lives they change? And most importantly, when was the last time you looked past your assumptions to see the person underneath? Because the truth is, we're all capable of being heroes. We're all capable of being the person who steps into the water when someone needs saving. The question is, will you? Marcus Williams is still serving his community. Emma Rodriguez is still dreaming of dinosaurs. Sarah Martinez now volunteers with police community outreach programs. And Keanu Reeves? Well, he's probably out there right now, quietly changing someone's life in ways they'll never see coming. Because that's what real heroes do. They show up when it matters most, and they remind us that kindness isn't just about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about standing next to someone when they're standing alone. Sometimes it's about telling their story when the world has forgotten how to listen. And sometimes it's about being brave enough to see the hero in someone else. The next time you see a viral video, ask yourself, what's the story behind the story? Who's the hero that nobody's talking about? You might be surprised by what you find.